Ooh, good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Mornings with Marvel, where authenticity lives and thrives to create a space of growth, healing, and joy. I am your host, Andrea Lawful Sanders, and each day we will cover the topics that are informative and engaging while learning from each other. Good morning to each and every one of you. It is Friday, October 31st, otherwise known as Halloween. I don't think anyone is tricking or treating right about now. It feels more like a trick around here than a treat with all the things that are going on around the world. And it is 49 degrees and mostly cloudy outside. I am getting ready to read my morning motivation, but there's so much going on. The clocks will be turned back this weekend, so we'll get an hour's extra hour of rest. The SNAP benefits are set to expire today if the government does not react, whatever needs to be done. And we have Councilmember Phillips who will be on at 6:40, and we have Dr. Gary Rule, a physician, emergency doctor from Jamaica, who will be on at 7:30. So we're going to have an after party today, and we will continue not just to talk about Jamaica, but the things that are going on around the country and the world. Brooklyn had unprecedented flooding yesterday. Something is happening, y'all. Something is happening, and people are starting to really truly feel the strain, even those who said they were going to be okay, because only the richest 10% in the country are doing well right now. They're the ones spending the money. The rest of us are trying to figure out how we're going to navigate in all of this. Let me, though, get to my morning motivation, because I think it's something that I want us to talk about in terms of how we see each other and what we do moving forward in our personal and professional relationships. This happened in 2018. Run towards love. You will never regret it. I noticed over the last few days, some years ago, that my husband was not really himself. And because he is a man that complains about nothing, I opted to hone in. Oops, I'm sorry. I opted to hone in and see what he needed without his having to tell me. So yesterday, I took on everything he wrote down he needed to do on his dresser. And when he got home last night to find it all done and dinner waiting for him, he sat in the sofa and laid in my arms for what seemed like an eternity from pure gratitude. Simply put, he was tired. I helped him to take off his cape for a minute, and that simple gesture on my part made him open up to talk, and he literally left the house this morning a new man. Relationships require that we move beyond the filters we build around ourselves to be selfless, kind, and bear the necessary weights of life unevenly so your partner and even the world can stop to breathe. It is so worth it. I opted to choose that thing to read to you this morning for the morning motivation because uh, so yesterday I did not get on the air. And there are two examples I want to give you about seeing others outside of yourselves. And I chose to, my daughter-in-law called, and my repeat had on a duckling costume and copy and paste, where she told me we're going to be walking around in their school yesterday in a little parade. And there were the only two ducklings in the school. And could I come with her? She said nothing but a word. And so I got up and I went to go hang out with my grandchildren. I usually spend most of my day with Repeat, my oldest granddaughter, because she doesn't want anyone else to be around me. She pushes her twin brother away. He has to literally fight her to get into my lap. But yesterday, it was my grandson. It was almost as if he could sense that something was going on with me. He laid in my arms when I went to have lunch. He came and sat beside me at the table. We played. I offered him some noodles. He took the noodles and put back in the bowl, but he just would not leave my side. And it was on my way home that I realized that he recognized through his little baby strength, his little baby cognitive abilities, that there was something going on with his grandmother, and maybe he should just spend and hug time with her. And then, so that helped my entire perspective for the day. But then my sister, who was in Jamaica, I went home, got home around 3:30. I was asleep by 4:30, 5 o'clock, and I slept until midnight. And so I awakened to see that my sister in Jamaica was awake. And I said, "Baby girl, why are you up?" And she said, "Because I'm in my house sorting shoes and clothes to donate to people so that, we can help folks. And I saw videos of people cooking outdoors so that people could eat who had no roofs over their head, whose whole homes were blown away. And it just brought a level of gratitude to my space, and thinking that compassion is not dead, that we're still, despite what it looks like, we can still find compassion with nothing that we have to create something out of nothing, and to see people outside of our own instances about what we have going on. I was so heartened by that. And so today I want to let you all know that there is a way to do this, to look beyond ourselves. You may not be able to figure out how you're going to eat come November 1st. But I can tell you stories of the time when I paid my rent, going through a divorce, and I had a dollar something left, and it was my neighbor across the way who had been watching me and my children, who came and bought food. She was Irish, and she brought corned beef and cabbage and a whole bunch of canned goods. And I remember looking at the sky and saying to God, because I was crying with my babies, like, what am I going to do? And if you're sitting here watching this and you think, oh, I've never gone through that, well, live a little, okay? I believe everybody has gone through something that they've just not talked about. I just happen to be transparent about the things that have happened in my life. And so you will find food. The food closets will open. When food is shared with you, share it with somebody else. See the compassion. Don't just see yourself and what you want and what you need. If you are under the sound of my voice and you have a roof over your head and you are warm, and you have more than enough clothing in your closet, clothes with tags on it, please, I'm begging you, start to donate. When I'm trying to sort my closets and get rid of my clothes, I have not once sold anything. I haven't sold anything. And I mean, some fantastic stuff. And I just, people, whoever need. Once one woman came to my house a few years ago, white lady who was a friend of mine, and I was offering clothes, and everybody was like, she came, went in my closet, took out what she wanted. She said, thank you so much. She had just gotten a job after not working for a while. She got shoes, she got clothes, didn't charge her a dime. We have to learn how to just be kind. Just simply be kind. Stop looking for payment. Stop looking for somebody to give you something. And so now we have all these people on the island who are suffering. And I do mean the decimation. We have cried more tears than the law should allow. But we also understand the resiliency of who we are as a people. And so for the folks who are tourists, I'm saying this, nobody, and I do mean nobody, should make reservations, cancel every plan you have to visit that island as a tourist, because the suffering there is unbelievable. And the tourists that are currently there who had gone through the Category 5 hurricane, some of them are coming on and saying, oh my God, thank you to the Jamaicans. We have just, they've been so kind, despite them not having anything, not roof over their heads. They still showed up to work to make sure we were okay in these hotels where they're staying. But some of the Americans are in those hotels fighting, literally fighting. You can see the videos of them fighting. Right? And so I have always said to you, when you go into someone else's country, understand what the platforms are, understand how the culture is, understand how people live. While we may not have the machinations and the things that are going on in the United States, there's something about the resiliency and the kindness of us. And you cannot, the same way I say, for those who were not born and raised here should not judge the people that were born and raised here. It's the same thing that I'm saying for those of you who go to visit other countries. If you don't understand it, so the Jamaicans are working really hard to get those folks off the island, and literally said to them, don't come back. Do not come back to our country. Because if you can see all the suffering and behave in the way that you are, you can stay home. Go somewhere else. Go visit somewhere else. Right? And to the tourists that are there, that are jumping in to help, that are trying to figure it out and understand the devastation, thank you. Absolutely, thank you. So there's so much work to be done right now, but see the kindness. Stop looking for how is it going to benefit you. Stop doing that, y'all. People are struggling, and they want to be able to come and say to you, you know what, I've got X, Y, and Z. But you have to help them quietly. Don't go, oh my God, I had to help this person today, and then you take pictures of them. Can we stop doing that? Can we condition ourselves to give quietly and just not always be in the spotlight about what we've done for people? Can we do that? Can we do that? Okay. All right. So I'm going to move along because I know Councilmember Phillips is going to join me shortly, and I want to cover this piece. Something going on around the world, y'all. And I can't even. Christopher Magg and Hillary Howard wrote this for the New York Times. Two men died yesterday, Thursday, when stormwater inundated basements in Brooklyn and Manhattan as sudden heavy record setting rains brought flash flooding to the New York area, the police said. One man, 39, had become trapped when he went back to his basement in the Flashboat neighborhood to rescue his dogs. A neighbor said a diver pulled him out, a fire department spokesman said. He was taken by ambulance to Kings County Hospital where he died. Officials did not confirm whether his death was caused by flooding. The other man, age 43, was found in a flooded basement boiler room of a building in Washington Heights in Manhattan. He was pronounced dead at the scene. The police did not confirm the names of either man on Thursday night. The deaths in Brooklyn and Manhattan came as between 1 and 3 inches of rain fell across the tri-state area on Thursday, according to Dominic Ramuni, a meteorologist with the National Weather Service. The downpour broke three daily rainfall records across the metropolitan area. LaGuardia Airport recorded over 2 inches today, with Newark Liberty International Airport and Central Park reporting 1.9 and 1.8 inches, respectively. The rain was ridiculous yesterday. So, for those of you who are sitting and saying, well, it can't happen to me, I'm living my best life, prepare for everything. Expect anything and prepare for everything, because as you can see in this country, a lot is going on. Let me let in Councilmember Phillips and then look at some of your comments. Good morning. Good morning. Uh, Councilmember Phillips, good morning. I don't know if
Good,
you're
good
by your.
morning.
Good morning,
Oh,
sir.
hold on, my
Good
camera
morning.
was just on.
No worries. No worries. No worries.
Uh,
I'm just looking at the comments now. Good morning to all of you. Monica says, yes, compassion and love for others will feed your soul in a way that no amount of money ever can. Marguerite says, why do people do that? People act like they have no home training. I don't know, Marguerite. But the ugly American thing popped up yesterday, and folks they were like trying to there were people renting cars and driving those horrible tourists off the island, just driving them to Kingston and saying, get on a plane and go home. When the planes are ready to take you out, go home. Right now, there's a lot of emergency planes coming into the island, and we're grateful for that. But oh my God. Yeah, Laura, you're right. My grandson, absolutely. You should have seen them. They were the cutest ducks ever. Good morning to all of you. I see you here. All right, Councilmember Phillips, you all right? You ready? Can you hear me?
yeah, I'm all right. I'm ready.
Okay. All right. So, as always, I want to thank you for being Johnny on the spot. Like I'll call you and you'll go, yep, 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 we can do this. And I appreciate it because not only do I want to talk about what's happening in City Council, I have another. I have another question for you. Council member Dr. Anthony Phillips represents Philadelphia's 9th District, covering Borough Home, Crescentville, East Oak Lane, Fern Rock, Lawndale, Lawncrest, and a partridge in a pear tree. For those of you who are not local to Philadelphia, he's a local city council member. He is one of 17 council people, and he covers one particular district, which is the 9th District. We, every Friday, if you've been listening to us, understand that we talk about what's happening locally, nationally, and internationally. And he has been literally Johnny on the spot for me, particularly for us here at Mornings with Marvel, because we want to know what's happening at City Council. All right, sir. So let's get going. What happened in City Council yesterday, other than the mayor saying that she has a surplus of $1.9 billion? Black Jesus.
Right. Well, let me go ahead and begin to start that. Yesterday, I voted no on now a bill that just passed City Council that will require Philadelphia to, to 10 cent. There will ultimately be a 10-cent fee on paper bags
Okay.
in the city of Philadelphia. Let me just tell you how this works.
Mm-hmm.
So essentially, there, Mark Squilla, the author of the bill, he basically decided that there we there was a need for a paper bag fee in the city uh, to really deter people from going to the store and not having reusable bags. So now, when you go to a store, any store in the city of Philadelphia, except for a food truck for the most part, uh, you're going to get charged a fee. Now, there were fees already happening for a lot of stores, but now in every store in the city, that's going to be happening. I thought, the environmentalists had talked about how important this was to changing behaviors and getting people to use,
Mm-hmm.
um, to basically use reusable bags.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Even though I believe in, the sustainability in our environment, which I understand, like, hey, let's find better ways to use bags, per se. I was just a little bit more concerned about the timing.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't think this is the right time
Yeah.
to put a fee, even as minimum, as some
Yeah.
people would
But
say
it all
10
adds
cents.
up. It all
It all
adds up.
adds up. I mean, when I realized that 472,000 Philadelphians, which is pretty much close to half, right,
Mm-hmm.
of Philadelphia, is going to get SNAP benefits cut. You know,
Yeah.
I just said to
Now,
myself,
Delaware has decided to use some of their monies to cover SNAP benefits. Delaware and two other states, I think Arizona and somewhere else. Has we heard anything from the government that says that SNAP benefits will not be cut as of tomorrow morning?
nope, I have
Okay.
not heard anything from the government. And then what I do know is that waiting on the mayor, um, but we're gearing up as well to do something.
Okay.
Um, I, I, I
Council.
do- I have a feeling that we're gearing up to do something as well
Okay.
from an administrative standpoint
Okay.
to address this issue too.
Okay,
But
so as we talk about addressing this issue, Councilmember Phillips, let me read this to you. Philadelphia closed the 2025 fiscal year with a $1.19 billion fund balance, the largest in the city's history, Mayor Sherelle Parker said on Tuesday. The fund balance shown in the city's annual financial report can be attributed to higher tax revenues, lower personnel costs, and the use of COVID-19 funding, the Parker administration said, adding that the surplus leaves the city in a strong position to weather uncertainty about state and federal funding. While we are pleased to have the highest fund balance in the city's history, we know we will need those dollars to help handle the risks we face, Budget Director Sabrina Maynard said in a statement. This was written by PhillyVoice.com. I would like you to address that, please.
I mean, a $1 billion surplus at this juncture in Philadelphia is is nice, right? That we have. Yet that's all relative given what we're about to go through. Because you can have the surplus, but because we don't have funds coming in from the federal government, and currently our state government is at a deadlock when it comes to our budget,
Mm-hmm.
and now we because of funds are not going through from the federal government, we now have issues with food insecurity in the city of Philadelphia. I mean, we could
So,
talk about
so,
that,
so when
but
you juxtapose
that all
which
that money's going to go. You know what I mean? At
no
some
time
point,
flat.
yeah, it's we're going to be using that fund, and then just other programs and initiatives, right? That the city, including the home program, right, which is the housing program, that some of these funds are going to have to go to.
Mhm.
And so I'm excited that we have a surplus, but given
Question.
the state of given
Question on the floor. Question on the floor. The $1.19 billion surplus, does that include the 800 million that was borrowed for the for
um
the for the for the buildings for
no,
the home? Okay,
mm-mm.
okay. Just
It
want to
does
make
not
sure.
include that for the home program.
Okay,
It does not include that, and that's
okay.
what I'm saying. Once the home program, the bond is secured because it has not been secured yet. Once that bond is secured, there goes that surplus, right? So it's great now, but that money's going to be spent. It's not like it's going to be sitting there for a little bit, for a little while. It's going to be it's most likely highly going to be spent in a very over the course of next year, given where we are
Okay,
with the federal government.
okay, okay. Um, Andrea says, but paper bags are recycled, right? I thought the move was no plastic, not make folk pay for everything. I walk out of my groceries in my bra before I pay for a paper bag. I've done
So
it, Andrea, like scooped it up and said, well, Black Jesus.
and that's what it was. And
Yeah.
so we did the paper bag, the plastic bag thing, right? Where
Mhm.
we put fees on a plastic bag. That was years ago before I came on council. Then now they're saying the environmentalists are saying that the 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 individuals who create paper bags are also harming the environment
Killing
because
trees. Paper bags are made out of trees.
so the paper bags are killing the environment as well as a result. And so that just to make the cost that goes into making them uh, is causing pollution as well, right? Because you're killing these trees, and then you got to use all this equipment that throws stuff into the air. So they're like, you know what? Let's stop doing that too. All paper. So they don't want plastic bags. They don't want paper bags, and
Mhm.
so now we are we will be doing reusable bags. Now here's the reality: if you got a car, you can keep a reusable bag in the back of your car all the time, right? If you don't have a car, you just want to go to CVS one day or the corner store, you just walk in. You know you don't have to pay for a reusable bag every time unless you're just going to be
Mhm.
carrying a reusable bag
Yeah.
everywhere you go.
And
And I
even when you have a car, you often forget the diggity dang bag anyway, right? So
right,
it's a habit
right,
that we have to, the muscle that we have to build. And let me add this. Every time we cut down a tree, see all this flooding that's happening?
mhm,
Trees absorb the water, the soil, the roots, all of that stuff. When we have bushes and plants and trees, it helps to negate the flooding. Brooklyn just flooded out yesterday, right? From the rainwater. When are we going to speak in a sensical way around what matters to us in the environment other than just doing hit or miss around, okay, we'll do paper bags today. All right, tomorrow we'll do reusable bags. All right. What are we doing?
right, right. And so those are the things that really concerned me about. I mean, there was some. I mean, I just feel as though the headline is going to be for us like people are like, oh, the fees minimum. I'm like, yeah. I mean, it still doesn't make like it sounds like we're just thinking about taxing people, right? And like
Mhm,
at a time that people need not to be taxed. Like we are at a
mhm.
point now. It's just like, well, it looks like we don't have any federal government support coming our
At
way
all. At all.
at
What else?
all.
What else happened in city council yesterday?
Okay, so yesterday we did. There were advocates who talked about the SNAP benefits, and what basically trying to figure out what we're going to do around that.
Mhm, mhm,
Um, and then also we did city council. City council was relatively light yesterday. We just had a number of resolutions, but beyond that,
mhm,
we didn't do as much as I mean. Here's what I will talk to you
mhm,
about. I can talk about city council this week. So this week we did have a hearing on the GPS system that we use for a lot of young people for the most part in the city. So GPS is essentially a tracking system that judges and sometimes DHS
mhm,
works with the judges to make decisions on who shouldn't we incarcerate,
mhm,
but who should we hold basically to house arrest. And but
mhm,
the GPS ankle bracelet tells you where this individual that's on house arrest is
mhm,
going.
mhm,
However, the problem is that there's been some technicality issues with the GPS system that people advocates such as the Defender Association,
mhm,
Philadelphia has said has impacted a lot of these individuals that have been under the GPS system.
mhm,
Um, Ultimately, what they're saying is that even though GPS system holds people to house arrest, there's times where they can't even go on their they can't go on their porch. They can't go anywhere close to off their porch. They said they're even in going into their backyard. Oh, something happened to my camera. They can't go to their
Hello?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay, don't worry.
Uh, they can't go to their backyard, and my camera's gone. Um, Let me just finish my statement, and I'll figure out how
Okay.
to get the camera back on.
Right.
They can't go to their backyard, and as a result of them not being able to go to their backyard, and maybe sometimes their basement, they get these technical violations that forces them to go back into the prison system, because oftentimes they're
What?
yeah, because after so many violations of of these this GPS system, they either going to stay longer on house arrest, or
Mhm.
they're gonna face imprisonment.
And so what were the conclusions that they came to? What was the solution that they came to as a direct result of hearing this?
The conclusion is
Was-
that there needs to be an investigation of the parole system, because the parole officers are not necessarily explaining very well or supporting these individuals. What they're saying, we can't even go look for a job. We can't, we can't go, start looking for other,
Mhm.
opportunities out there for us, such as school, whatever that may be. They have so many technicalities on them. Now, granted,
Mhm.
some of these folks that are under house arrest, they committed some very, very serious violations.
Mhm.
Not sure what they are. However, I think that like there's data, that's in these trackers. The trackers supposedly have judges are allowed to send this information to the federal government, and other places that want this data. And so what that leads to ultimately is a level of like worry from individuals that are advocates and some council
Mhm.
members, that is this data going to track them for
Mhm.
like ICE situations,
Mhm.
or even further situations where now the FBI is tracking them,
This is
in a
so
way.
crazy. This is
So
so
yeah,
crazy.
so yeah, yeah,
What happened to your camera?
that's what I'm trying to figure out. I feel like
Okay.
it's telling me that they don't want me, don't want me on, so I'm gonna log off the camera.
Okay,
Uh,
so the other, I have one. So stick a pin there for me, please, because this is important. The GPS tracking system. I've been in a home where young girls, teenage girls, had the tracking systems on the monitors, and their monitors kept going off. And the one girl
mm.
said, "I'm home. I'm in the house. I'm in the house."
That's what
So
she
I,
said. That's what she
yeah,
said. And then they get this
yeah,
technical violation, and then they'll have a right to defend themselves.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah,
what
yeah.
that's what they were saying. Yep. They're like,
Yep.
I'm in the house, and then as the technical violations add up, they end up staying longer in the system. Now,
Hmm.
the folks that were talking were saying people become depressed on this thing a little
Hmm.
bit more, because they just are confined to a room. Basically, they're
Hmm.
always nervous that they're going to break the
Hmm.
GPS system. Like they're going to move to the wrong space. They're going to get
In the
but
house.
in the house, yes. And so that's part of the issue.
Hmm.
Um,
So Andrea says, did they test the technical parameters of trackers before contracting with the company and then penalizing the individuals under their custody when they don't work? This is crazy.
yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah.
Okay. All right.
And then
Listen,
and,
I see. I feel like we have more questions than we have answers a lot of the times when dealing with these scenarios. But I know we only have a certain amount of time,
yeah,
and I
yeah.
got.
But
I
what I could do is next time I come on, I'm gonna give you a full report, because I got the
thank you.
report. This happened yesterday.
Oh,
So
oh, oh!
I'm
That
going,
happened yesterday.
yeah, this happened yesterday. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it all together so you guys can hear about it. But I just think it's
Thank you.
important for you guys to hear.
Thank you.
But since my
One.
camera's off, I'm just probably going to jump off here.
No, no, no! Don't jump off because we can hear you. We can
Okay,
absolutely hear you.
okay.
The other thing was the PHL, the soda tax with the daycare. Were you in that meeting when that meeting happened?
Oh yeah, I was there. I was in that meeting. That was intense.
Okay, so can we
Um,
discuss?
yes, let's discuss that. So the individuals that are against the soda tax are ultimately now saying that as a result of the soda tax, money is leaving Philadelphia, because people are now, of course, shopping in surrounding counties. There's a black market for this soda distribution now, where basically there will be individuals who will try to escape the tax, even though they are in Philadelphia, they work in. I mean, they in Philadelphia, you're supposed to buy from
Mhm.
Philadelphia soda
Mhm.
distributors if you're a
Mhm.
store in Philadelphia. There are now most stores are trying to go out to New Jersey and other places, Delaware that doesn't have these taxes, just to avoid the tax. So now on the soda distributors that are based in Philadelphia, they're saying they're losing money, and now that's affecting jobs as well as salary increases for their workers. So they're because they're not getting as much revenue as they used to, because everyone's going out. People are supposed to be shopping in Philadelphia. Stores, is the owners are supposed to be getting sodas from Philadelphia, are not doing that anymore.
Okay, so understood. This is the conversation that's been going on since this thing was enacted a few years ago, right?
Yes.
It did bring in some revenue. So if we want to get rid of this tax so that the businessmen can make their monies again with the sodas in Philadelphia,
Hmm.
what's going to happen with the children? Because a
That's
good
it.
portion of that was for the playgrounds and for the children, and these parents can't afford. We come from a place where we judge sight unseen. So are we more concerned about what happens with the business owners? And I get it. I feel their pain. I get money is money is money, right? But what happens to the children? Where is the extra money going to come from to pay for these children to be in preschool so that they can be prepared for kindergarten,
And,
so that they
yeah,
can go through
and
school
there
and not be functionally illiterate? You see
and
what I'm
there you
saying?
and there you have it. There you have it. That is the problem in itself. The problem is that these advocates that are against the soda tax have not worked with the city to come up with an alternative of where this revenue is going to go for our community schools, which is soda tax benefits
Mhm.
go towards. Then we also have PHL pre-K, and
Mhm.
then we also have, which is our major soda tax beneficiary,
Mhm.
and then we also have the what's the other one? Oh, rebuild, which is
Rebuild.
rebuilding our rec centers
Mhm.
and our libraries, right?
Mhm.
And we have rebuilt several rec centers and libraries as a result of the soda tax.
Mhm.
Now, what they're also saying is that we oftentimes even borrow. We do borrow. We use the city uses bonds to basically pay for some of these rebuild projects. The
Mhm.
soda tax, like they'll take, like, for example, they'll take $100 million bond out for a few rec centers to fix a few rec centers, and then bank on the soda tax revenue to pay back the bond. So, in the past years, like for example, when the soda tax first came out, we were surplusing around $100 million or more
Yep.
uh, in revenue. Now it's going down. This past year was $68 million. So they're saying that the revenue for the soda tax is going to keep going down to the point where you're not going to be able to pay back any of those bonds that you're taking out for rebuilding rec centers, or as well as helping out with PHL pre-K.
Okay. So I interviewed a candidate for the third congressional district, and Andrea reminded me. She says, "Remember this week when candidate Carl said the city is not prepared for the implications of using all the technology around us." There's that.
Mm.
And Monica says, "Oh, you got to go see his website."
Oh,
Um,
he's a technology guy. He actually
yes,
lives
he
in our
is. Yes,
he
he
lives in
is.
our district.
Yes. Monica Adams says, "Where is all the money that was collected already? Not all these excuses now about people are ducking it now. Where is that money? Because they've been asking too for years. Where's the money? Where is it going? Show and prove. Like, where, is it going? Is that certain amount going over here, a certain amount going over there? Oh Lord, it's a lot.
Mm-mm. It's a
It's a
lot.
lot. The last thing, because I know the advocates, Laverne tagged me in a post where she spoke at that hearing because she
Mhm.
has a daycare center and she's not stopping. Right. So we're going to worry about that, but we have to think about the children. Are we just going to kill the tax? And then what happens to all that money that's going towards the
Uh,
children and the
yeah,
people?
I don't think we don't have an alternative right now to kill the tax, and I think that we got to keep the children first in our decision making. So
Okay. And then yesterday, in the middle of dealing with all the shenanigans that are going on in Jamaica, I get a message from a woman. In fact, let me pull it up so I want you to hear this because I'm not under the illusion that you've seen all of these things. So let me just go ahead and pull it up for you so you can hear what this is. Hold on. Even reaching out to our hold elected. On. Hey, Philly. My name is Paulette Fields, and I need your help. I've been a homeowner on Parkside Avenue for nearly 50 years. This isn't just property, it's our history, it's our home, and our community, and now it's being threatened. An over-eager developer, German Yakubov of Haverford Square property, wants to build a 48-unit apartment building right here, and in the process, he's trampling over our rights as long-term residents. We've tried everything, writing letters, asking for compromises, even reaching out to our elected officials, and nothing has changed. So now we're turning to social media for help. Please visit the GoFundMe link in our bio so we can legally fight this battle. If you can't donate, you can still make a huge impact by liking, commenting, sharing, and by calling your elected officials. Every share matters, every voice counts. Okay. Oh, so this is the conversation that was sent to me yesterday, and I posted it on my page. And then someone reminded me that there's an article in the Philadelphia Inquirer that 1 in 4 homes in Philadelphia are being bought up by major developers. Cool. But it seems from this woman and from the folks that I have been talking to that this one particular developer is forcing people to get out of their homes, right? Have you heard anything about this at all?
This is the first time I've heard about it. First time I heard about it, and I'm sure the council person of that area, which would be Curtis Jones, has heard about it. If
And
neighbors
they
are
said Jamie Gaudier have been trying to help them, and
it's on Parkside. Parkside would be yes.
Mm-hmm.
Parkside would be yes. Jamie Gaudier. Yep.
So can we do a little bit more digging into
trying to
this,
move
please?
them out their homes?
Yes.
And then like.
So this woman has been living in her home for 55 years, and she said this man is forcing them out of their home. So you know me already, right?
That's not
I'm
okay.
going to interview her. She'll be on here. I will absolutely have her on here to have a conversation.
You can't force people out of their homes, especially if they're paying their rent and
no, she owns her home. These are homeowners.
Oh no, you can't force because they trying to do development. No,
he wants to put a 48 unit development where these people have lived on Parkside Avenue for God knows how long, right? And
that's
so
unbelievable.
What's happening, not just in the city but around the country as it applies to us? So you worked all your life, you did what you had to do, you paid your taxes, you did all the stuff, you now own your home, you're just paying property taxes, and this is what's happening. If this is happening to them on Parkside, how long before it happens in other places?
No, that's unbelievable. It's wrong, and it can't be accepted. You can't. I mean, like you come to your home every day, and then you say someone's constantly trying to get you out. Like that's uncomfortable, and it's not okay. I'm disappointed in that conversation, and I can't wait. If there's something that we need to legislate or a policy we need to review, or you need to get that guy into some criminal charges. I'm all for supporting the council person in that area to do that. I think it's going to be
it's so interesting. Again, seems to be incredibly powerful, right? This person. Over the past decades, brothers German and Lev Yakubov, they sound Jewish to me, but I'm not sure, have become significant players in West Philadelphia's bustling development scene through their development and property management firm, Haverford Square Properties. The duo now own a litany of buildings across Mantua, Belmont, and Parkside. The company's real estate proposals have sometimes drawn public praise and other times resistance. Successful redevelopment of severely dilapidated historic properties like the Allen B. Rourke Mansion at 862 North 41st Street, a Victorian-style mansion listed on the city's historic register, the Yakubovs restored and converted into apartments while also building a new 16-unit structure on the property, has been a boon for preservation. They want to do Haverford Square has also drawn controversy, particularly as their footprint pushed into the Parkside neighborhood. Their neighbors vehemently opposed an original plan to build a six-story apartment building at Belmont and Parkside Avenues, which would block a mural of the Philadelphia Stars, a black baseball team that played in Parkside during the 1930s. Yakubov offered to relocate the mural across the street, but development project remains in limbo. Nearby on Parkside Avenue, the Yakubovs' efforts to convert a pair of brownstones listed on the local register into multifamily homes housing have also run up against community opposition. Someone spoke to him about the origins of Haverford Square, why the company has taken historic properties into its portfolio. But this woman is saying that she's being forced out of her home that she has lived in. So I need to get
Mm,
some clarity around this, right? It's not just taking over buildings that have been left in blight and need to be rebuilt, et cetera, et cetera. But this woman is
right.
suggesting that she's being forced of her own. So I need to talk to her. I need to get some clarity around this. And I'm going to have my producer reach out to the developers, as always, right? We always want to make sure that we give both sides an
And
opportunity
you know they're
to
not
have
going
the
to. They probably
conversation.
won't respond.
That
'Cause they
right,
know.
but we need to have it on record that we
Yeah,
reached out to them, so they can't say we didn't reach out to them, right?
I think that's very smart.
Um, oh, listen. Andrea is talking about the money, the soda tax money. She said, "Where is all the money? Don't tell us that revenue reduced this year over last without telling us how all the generated money is actually spent over all this time." That's the thing. People keep asking, but there seems to be a thing in Philadelphia where it's just shut up and do what we tell you to do. She also says properties are being bought by, wait a minute. She says properties are being bought by developers at cents on the dollar compared to regular people buying the same homes. And
Yeah.
Laverne says, how is zoning not saying no to this developer if the residents don't want it? Is zoning a joke? Well, there's a
Wow.
question. Alexandra says using the loopholes that developers have in this city has been going on for the past 15 plus years.
Yep. Yep. And we've been cracking down on some of these loopholes. I
Mhm.
remember that Councilman Jeffrey Young had talked a lot about these loopholes that developers have.
Mhm.
And like for example, one of the loopholes that he cracked down on in his district, as well as Jamie Gaudier did it in her district as well, is that there are developers that you can buy a piece of vacant land in your district in a particular part of the city.
Mhm.
They will hold on to that piece of they'll buy it and do nothing with it for years, right? And hold on to it.
Decades.
Yes, and hold on to it and then say, "Oh, the market's right. I have my money right, and now I can do the development." But now that land has been vacant for all these years,
Mhm.
and the neighbors are like, it's causing blight, it's causing
Mhm.
crime, and so they're
Mhm.
suffering as a result of this vacant land just sitting there. So
Mhm.
now they've created laws that once you acquire the land, you have to do something with it
All right,
within
in a certain period of
yeah,
time.
within a year or
Yeah.
two, I think. And so these are a lot of loopholes that these that we're trying to crack down with these developers, but they keep trying to find they try to find any way they know how to obstruct the law. You know,
And who is in council or in government that's allowing them to do that? Who did I
I
ask the
think the
wrong
problem
person?
is that here's the thing: the people who are in L&I redevelopment, certain entities that focus in on this license inspections, they know this. They know these things are happening, but they're not like
Yeah, but the
being
people can't buy
innovative.
the but the council members have prerogative or whatever they call it, council member
Yeah,
prerogative, and you can see in certain neighborhoods where the certain council people's prop spaces where you see all of this happening. The
that's true.
Wafe Hair Salon at 30, 2139, whatever the address is in North Philly, right behind the Wafe are a whole bunch of dilapidated, broken down, crumpled buildings. When I asked the owner of the Wafe if anybody's, but she said, oh, they've all been bought up for
Mm,
years. They've done nothing with it. Nothing.
wow.
Nothing.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Not okay. Not okay.
So whatever this prerogative, that's why I ask about council members. Like, what is happening here? right?
Well, every that's why Jamie Gade has been, I think, doing a great job with trying to address that development. For example, e-
Hmm.
even at the in University City,
Hmm.
she's introduced a bill, and I'm not sure if I mentioned this, but St. Joseph University is looking to sell the land that they just purchased several years ago. That was at the University of Sciences, and
Mm-mm-mm.
so she is irate because she's like, they're going to sell the land without any community input.
Hmm.
And so she created this bill immediately that says that, the in order for a university to sell property in her area, they're going to have to, go through an RCO process, as well as some other stipulation. I think she created that it can't
Hmm.
be used for a certain, like, that's not educational, right?
Hmm.
Purposes. Like if you're a university. Um,
Hmm.
so the long story short, you have to if you allow these entities to do what they want to do, they'll do whatever they want to do with the land. And right now, every piece of land is being used for housing. You would think
Yeah.
that, like, I know housing is important, but we're doing some housing that's just not the right housing. We have these luxury condos that are being built, and everywhere I look up, there are signs that saying available, available, available.
Hmm.
Like, why are so many? If we needed all these apartments, there
Hmm.
should be all these signs saying available. They're saying available because they're way too expensive.
It's way too expensive. And I have a theory around that, but I'm going to leave that alone for right now because I'm too smart for my own good. Andrea says, so the BRT website no longer allows you to search properties by owner. Is that to protect the identity of the developers and out of the owners who owns dozens of properties or more all over the city? There's the
That's
first question.
that,
Tracy says, these developers who own those lots and vacant properties who are just sitting on them should be forced to develop them or lose them because they're causing blight in our neighborhoods. Alexandra says, I love the people on here because listen, they are not playing. Alexandra says, so the developers go online to pull up the property information to find out how long the homeowner has owned the home, if taxes are due. If they're seniors, they get preyed on to sell for a very low price. And that's what's been going on, according to what I'm here. And yet it's not affordable housing once they do what they're supposed to do. So we have to go back into delving into that
yeah.
over some time. Not today though, because I want to end my conversation with you to say thank you. um, you have opened up your office for Kata Scott's family
Oh,
to make sure that they got donations. My husband went in there last Saturday and he said he was blown away by the amount of donations that have been given, you know.
oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
so thank you.
Yes,
And
yeah,
folks are just talking about how you stepped in without asking for anything. You just literally saw, this is what we're looking for, people who see a problem and create a solution. So on behalf of the folks in that area, thank you so much for creating a space for folks to donate to this family, so that they can have something. We haven't heard about it. Has there been a funeral yet? It's been so quiet.
yeah, yeah. There is. There's going to be a funeral on Saturday, November 8th.
Okay.
And it's going to be at I think it's at 10 or 11 o'clock at the Mount Airy Kojic Church.
Church of God in Christ.
Church of
Yes.
God in
Okay.
Christ. Yeah, Church of God in Christ.
Okay.
And yeah, I mean, thank you. I mean, it was heartwarming to see so many people
Whew.
come through that office in
Yes.
tears. Some people drove as many as 2 to 3 hours away.
Oh, wow.
There were several organizations that came through. They
Mhm.
collected thousands of items, self-care items, non-perishable items. And then there was they had about $9,000 worth of gift cards, right? And to be honest with you, I was just taken aback. I was just so happy that, and when we delivered it to them this past Monday,
Mhm.
and they were just overwhelmed with grief. But I think when we came in with the donations, they started to, like, as the donations started coming in, they were like, lighten up. Like, you
Yeah.
really health experience. I mean, they have enough
Mhm.
water to last them for the rest of the year,
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
not for longer than that.
Mhm.
I think it's just I think our community with something with Kata, I think it touched them differently because of who
Mhm.
Kata was,
Mhm.
and she just seemed like somebody that didn't wasn't in the mix. You know what I mean? Like she just wasn't in the crowd.
But even if she was in the mix, the way she was, brutally slain is
Yeah.
something that folks just could not wrap their heads around. Even though we continue to see violence increase in our country as a direct result of God knows how many things, and that's another time for another day. What I am heartened by is that people, this is what I mean when I say, you may be struggling to pay your water bill, but you saw that this young lady was killed. You took a little $25 and you went on over to council member's office and you dropped it off for this
Hmm.
family. That's the compassion that we're going to need moving forward as people
Yes.
continue to struggle like hell. There are plenty of people who have extra, more than enough extra things in their homes, right? That they
Yes.
can donate. When you see the need arising, just step up and do it. It not only helps them, it helps you because you feel like you did something outside of yourself. Does that make sense?
Mm. Yep.
Right?
You're right. You're
So
right.
you didn't have to do this.
No, yeah,
You did not have to do this. You could, because I didn't see anybody else stepping up to do it. I'm sure you caught some hell because, as always, know your place.
always,
This
always,
city,
always,
this
I
city
always
is.
do. And this wasn't something that I was like, oh, I got to jump on, I got to do. This
Yeah.
is something that the family said, like, hey, we need help with. And I was like, what do y'all need help with? And I said, she's like, I said, do you need anything donated? Do you need? She says, yeah, I guess we could take donations, but we just don't want to take it at our house. There's just too much going on.
Mhm.
And I was like, okay. I was like, okay, who can I call to do this? But I said, I know how all these other organizations and people work. Everything becomes so drawn
Political.
out,
Mhm.
yeah, and political. And I just
Mhm.
said, they just want somebody to collect donations
Mhm.
and do it quietly and get it to their home. You know what I mean? The news came out just to help publicize it, which I thought was great.
Mhm.
But beyond that, I was not going to make this like a situation where it was
Mhm.
about anything but her family.
Family. And you did.
So
And
which
you
was
did.
yeah. So
You're a great example for me personally of core values.
mm,
What I saw, and I'm telling you, I haven't missed a beat yet. I looked at you when I said, there's something different about you, but I'm going to reserve conversation until you get into office. You are literally showing up the way people expect their council people to show up, with compassion, with love, give people dignity, answer their questions. We call your office and it's answered. Somebody is texting or emailing, or, you show up into your office. The people are kind and generous because your staff matters. Remember me telling you that
they did say
when you
that.
first got in? I
It
said, if
hurts
the
that in.
staff sucks, it's gonna suck for you. Didn't I
And
say
it
that to
did.
you?
And yeah, you're right. And when I first got in, I inherited the staff, and I learned that really quickly.
Mm-hmm.
I was
Mm-hmm.
like, man, try to
Mm-hmm.
you got to get people who
Want
kind of
to work, who
want
have
to work,
compassion.
who want to
Yes.
work, absolutely,
Yeah.
and understand the values of that. They are servants, like they're
Yep.
not. And that's the biggest thing. It's like they got to want to work. And
Yeah.
I don't hire people for political reasons. You know how many requests I get for people that went, and that's the easy way out. Like to
Mhm.
hire people in that regard. That's the easy
Mhm.
way out. But
Mhm.
that's not what I'm gonna do. And
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
appreciate that. That's really encouraging and inspiring.
Oh, you were so welcome. Because I'm telling you, I would be digging too when stuff
Yeah.
isn't right. I'd be calling you. Such stuff's going on abroad and down there.
Oh my
And
goodness.
you're like, okay, Andrea, what we gonna do? Because we gotta.
Yeah.
The community needs us to show up and say, not just for photo opportunities, but what exactly are you doing? You're doing
Right.
just that. You're
Exactly.
doing just that, and so we are great. Somebody says Francesca is great. She was very
Uh,
humble and approachable.
Yeah, and that's great. That's great. Yeah, Fran, she's always there. Always there. What's interesting is that people were saying stuff like on Saturday, I had a 2 weeks ago, I had a senior lunch breakfast, and
Mhm.
people were coming up to me saying like, I hear you on Andrea's show. I'm like, oh, I said that's how I came here. I'm like, okay. I said,
Mhm.
listen. folks in the ninth district are here, and I'm so excited to
Mhm.
hear y'all. If y'all
Mhm.
listening, I'll be
Mhm.
here with you
And these are the topics that we want to cover. We want to talk about our conditions, our social and emotional conditions. As I woke up this morning, I could just hear God saying, listen, the time is now to just really hone in and start taking care of each other. I've been saying this for a while. Who is your
guys.
tribe? Where is your tribe? Who is on your block that that you can support and that they can support you? My neighbor right next door, Lord have mercy, she don't miss a beat. She knows when people are coming. Somebody came to our house to pick up a package, and she was watching on her camera. She came outside. I said, ah!
That's it. You just said it. It's about in these times we need each other, and what we
Yes,
dedicate a
yes,
shot is
yes,
so that we
yes.
needed each other.
Yes. And
So
so the other day I saw her, I said, thank you so much for that. She said, listen, you're working your behind off. I don't know what she see. She said, you're working your behind off and you're exercising. So you're gonna be all right. But that's a neighbor that when I first came, she didn't know what to do with me. She said, because she called me an uppity such and such.
yes.
But I was just doing the work and minding my business, right?
Right, right,
So
right.
we have to know who our neighbors are. Get our stuff together. Don't be so insular that it's all about what's with you and going on in your house. It's all
Hmm.
about the community, how you love on and support each other,
And
right?
support each other.
So
I mean,
thank you.
that's huge.
Yeah,
But
man. Yeah, man.
but
Thank you, Council
but
Member
thank you
Phillips.
so much. I
You are so
appreciate you.
welcome. You were so
All right.
listen, always. Do I see you next week?
No, no, next week I ain't gonna have nothing because there's no council.
There's
So
no council.
I'll
Okay. Well,
have
we're
to.
gonna figure
I'm gonna
out something
tell.
to talk about.
Yeah, I need to figure out something to talk
Okay.
about.
And when you come back, maybe you can come back on Friday for me, next week Friday, to talk about the elections because there will be much to discuss. The retention of judges locally, the retention of
Okay,
judges at the Commonwealth. Let's talk about that
let's do it
next Friday. All
next
right.
Friday. All right,
Thank
now.
you, my brother.
All right, no
Always a
problem.
pleasure. Talk
Talk
to
to
you
you. Bye
soon.
bye. Thank
All
you.
right. Bye bye. Bye bye. Whoo, Black Jesus. Y'all hear me say Black Jesus all the time? Me and Jesus talk all the time. We talk all the time because there is so much going on. I just don't know where to start. All right. Let me do a little bit of news while I wait for Dr. Rule. Because there's so much I want to talk about, and I just don't know where to start. The Delaware governor, Matt Meyer, has declared a state of emergency so SNAP recipients can still receive their benefits. This comes as the government shutdown is now in its 31st day and nearing a cutoff crisis this weekend. Federal funding for the food assistance program is set to pause on Saturday. The emergency order in Delaware will allow the state to move funding from the state budget that will provide assistance to SNAP recipients every week while the shutdown continues. So there are solutions, y'all. As Dr. Carl says, Amar says, for every problem there is a solution. You just have to be willing to find that solution. As written by 6abc.com. Philly shut a Greyhound bus terminal to reopen for America's 250th birthday. After the Greyhound bus terminal at 10th and Filbert Streets was shuttered in anticipation of a Center City 76ers arena, that never materialized, those who relied on business for travel in and out of the region have seen stops move to different locations across the city. But that will soon end as the city is partnering with the Philadelphia Parking Authority to reopen and revitalize the 10th and Filbert Greyhound bus terminal for the 2026 celebration of America's birthday. I'm moving on. The devastation is enormous. People across the Northern Caribbean were digging out from the destruction of Hurricane Melissa on Thursday as deaths from the catastrophic storm climbed. The rumble of large machinery, whine of chainsaws, and chopping of machetes echoed through the southeast Jamaica as government workers and residents began clearing roads in a push to reach isolated communities that sustained a direct hit from one of the most powerful Atlantic storms on record. The monster cyclone had winds of up to 185 miles per hour when it made land in Jamaica, destroying building and infrastructure and leaving at least 9 people dead. Stunned residents wandered about, some sharing as their roofless homes and waterlogged belongings strewn around them. I don't have a house now, said the distressed Sylvester Guthrie, a resident of Lacovia in the southern parish of St. Elizabeth, as he held onto his bicycle, the only possession of value left after the storm. Now whew. The devastation is so enormous that it defies description. There are roads that people can't go down to get to their homes. One house is laying on the side, beautiful home, beautiful structure, um, but there is a 9 foot crevice that the water rushed down through the home and through all the concrete and the asphalt built up in the middle, so cars can't even get over it, right? That's just one example. You look, home after home has no roof, so we're buying tarps. I was in a store yesterday looking for tarps to donate, right? Because just whole ceilings gone. And then you act roofs gone, and then you add to it someone in Westmoreland, which is in the western tip of the island, where dead bodies are just building up. There he is. Let me let him in. Dr. Rule, good morning, sir.
Good morning. How are you
I am
doing?
I am so good. I was just talking about Jamaica, so you came in at just the right time. Dr. Gary Rule is a board certified internal medicine physician, healthcare management consultant, and author from Jamaica. He is a former emergency room doctor who has held leadership roles in healthcare, including Director of Health and Human Services for the City of Hartford, Connecticut, and Chief Medical Officer for CVS Aetna Better Health. Sir, I can't even think of a better conversation to have right now than the one I'm about to have with you. I am told that good morning and thank you for joining us at such short notice. Let me say that. I where are you now,
Thank
sir?
you. Thank you. In Windsor, Connecticut?
You're in Connecticut. Okay. So talk to us a little bit about, I'm told that you
I'm in
have a
Connecticut.
okay. I'm told that you have a contingency of nurses and doctors that you're putting together to go to the island. Can you tell me a little bit more about that, please?
Yes, certainly. So thank you. Good morning. So I am also the health sector representative for the Global Jamaica Diaspora Council. And that council advises and consults with, well, specifically for me, the health sector, right? The Ministry of Health and Wellness and the National Health Enhancement Foundation there. And so our plan is to actually do a medical mission to Jamaica, recognizing that we're really at this point just gathering information in terms of the initial response really is search and recovery and the disaster management, and knowing that so this really is a call to action to be prepared and to lay the groundwork so that we are ready, whether it's 2 weeks from now, a month from now, 2 months from now, to actually go on site as well to do most of it's more than just primary health care, right? Because there is also the mental health concerns and really just across the board to be ready to go on site when we're ready to do that appropriately. Unless you're a health professional that has done or wants to do either yourself or your organization disaster healthcare medical management. And so there is a group of doctors, nurses, healthcare professionals who are ready and willing to go. And the reason that I wanted to be on call with you this morning is to let you know that and to have folks contact me or really through the Consul General of New York to be just streamline the information that we're not being splintered, and to be sure that we address this issue really in a more compact, comprehensive, wholesome way than everyone kind of trying to do their own thing.
Own thing. Yeah. Which is why I wanted to talk to you. Are you
Mhm.
still accepting help from nurses and doctors who want to join you when you decide to take this medical mission to Jamaica?
Absolutely, absolutely. Because when if you look at the devastation that's there, really from the South Coast, from Black River, St. Elizabeth, all the way up,
Hmm.
we know that healthcare is needed, right? We know that's there. And so even for the persons who have been displaced, they obviously have medical conditions anyway before the disaster. And so wherever they're displaced, whether that's in Kingston or wherever they've gone to, that system also needs support. So we recognize that there's a phased response. The initial piece is disaster management. Folks who are used to working under those conditions, war conditions, those are the ones who can go now and are
Right.
needed now. But looking down the road, we certainly need a lot of more persons to help us in the disaster zone, as well as where persons have been displaced across the country.
Okay. How can they reach you, or where should they go? Where should they sign up to do this, to volunteer?
Right. The best way to do it is to go to the Consul General of New York's website. And when you get to the banner page, if you look to that's the first page that you come to.
Mhm,
If you look to the left-hand side, halfway down the page,
mhm.
there's an email for the community representative person, the CRO, Community Resource Officer, and there's the email there.
Okay.
Email him, it's a him, and in your title, indicate interest in medical mission
Mhm,
or attention, Dr. Rule,
mhm,
and you can describe obviously your contact information, your skill
mhm,
set.
mhm.
He'll forward that to me, and then I'll reach back out to you.
Okay.
That's the easiest and best way to do it,
Mhm.
because if I give you my phone number,
You no, not on this,
just
not
like
here,
with
Doctor
the
Rule.
consul general.
Your phone will not stop ringing.
Yeah, no,
Not
no,
stop ringing. Do you know the
right.
website to the council? Do you know the
So,
website to the Council of New York?
um, not off the top of my head, but it should be www Consul General Jamaica ny.org. I actually had it up, but let me look right here. Okay,
Okay.
I have it up. It's actually CON
Mm-hmm.
GEN Jamaica, so JAMAICA dash ny.org.
Dash NY. Wait, say that again for me, please. Just so I got this clearly, because I need people to,
Yes, yeah,
everyone to ask.
right.
It's CON
Sure. So
GEN.
CON GEN.
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh. Jamaica, JAMAICA
Mm-hmm.
dash ny.org.
.org. Okay. All right. I want to make sure that they have
Mm-hmm.
that. Dr. Rule, when I spoke to Michelle Neal yesterday morning, I said, can I please talk to him right away? Because folks are asking how they can support and help. Do you, is there a way for the same thing for them to send medical supplies your way? Because you're going to need a lot of it.
We need a lot of medical supplies.
So can
So
you
the
give me an
reason I
idea?
actually gave you that the concept,
I'm sorry, Dr. Rule,
sure.
you have
When
a
you go,
delay.
okay, I'm sorry. When you go to the website, there is an official needs list that's there.
Ah,
Okay,
okay.
and I will tell you. Yeah, I'll tell you in terms of it's a 14-page document because the supplies are broad, but for health supplies, the things that are on there are things like um, an automatic. It's a defibrillator, right?
Okay.
A defibrillator. If you have access to that,
Mm-hmm.
axes, blackboards, batteries, battery sets, blood pressure machines,
Mm-hmm.
caution tape, chainsaws, claw hammer, CPAP machines, linen, drug carts, EKG machines, a field hospital equipment.
Okay.
So really anything, galoshes, gloves, um, hygiene products, really
Mhm.
anything that a healthcare facility would need,
Mhm.
that's on the list.
Okay.
So what
Okay.
I would first do is consult the official needs list and see what is on there that you want to contribute.
Mhm. Okay, Dr. Rule, I have to say this because a friend of mine called me yesterday and she said, we saw that the American government is doing nothing for Jamaica. And I said, that's because we're not waiting. There are so many people across the diaspora that is going to stand up and do what needs to be done. Even the small part that I'm playing by having you on so that people can understand, okay, this is where I go to volunteer to go to Jamaica to be a part of the medical mission. This is where I go to see what the official needs are. One thing about us is that we're not going to sit around and wait for government help. Like, right, there's enough of us. We've understood every bickle matters, right? So I am so grateful to
Right.
you and what you have done up to this point. And so I'd like to reserve the right to bring you back on as you get closer to doing this medical mission. The videos and the stories that are coming out of Jamaica are breaking my heart. Like, I'm crying every day and I'm not even there, right? So I appreciate your saying you're going to do that. You wait for the search and rescue to be over, wait for them to do some of that stuff that is necessary right now, because people are not able to come out of their homes. I saw my sister's husband, who is a surgeon in Jamaica, trying to clear a pathway for his friend who is sick as a dog to be able to come out, to be able to get, medical help, kind of thing. But he's one person, and you just see this happening all over the island. They're donating shoes and clothes and food and trying to help each other. It's a beautiful sight. But what has happened, in my estimation, Dr. Rule, is that huge swaths of Jamaica has been decimated. And so I am
It has.
grateful for you and for anybody else who steps up to say, this is what we're going to do. Thank you so much, sir. I appreciate it.
Thank, thank you. Thank you so much. Thanks for having me on.
Oh, you're so welcome. Is there anything else you'd
Thank
like
you.
to add while we're here before we get off the air this morning?
I would, one thing, definitely. So, 19 persons have lost their lives.
Yeah.
We definitely have to extend condolences to them and their families, their friends, and their colleagues for what has happened. And really just to express concern, as you've said, that because of the devastation, to recognize that we're with you in this, you're not alone, and that to really just express concern for all affected, all of Jamaica affected, no matter where you are on the globe.
Yes, yes. And that's what's happening. People are showing up from all around the world. And so Jamaica will have what it needs. And so
It will.
from my heart to yours, thank you so, so much for the part that you're playing in all of this. I appreciate you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Muva. Take care. Have a good day.
All right. You too. Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
The one good thing about being tied to the Council General here in Philadelphia is that we're able to have access to people like Dr. Rule, who is doing work, across the diaspora to make sure that folks get what they need. I started the show this morning saying that despite what is going on in your life, try to figure out how you can help somebody else beyond yourself. The Jamaicans and many of you that are not born and raised in Jamaica, but are born here in America and in Britain and all around the country, all around the world, you have stepped up to make sure that you can help as much as you can. The island as we know it will never be the same. And so we are grateful. I mean, absolutely grateful. I am working diligently, not to be emotional about this ish, because it's a lot. There are videos and things you will not see because they're being shared privately in our groups, our caches, and we're not posting them all over the place because we just want to make sure that folks are okay. But the backbreaking work, something as simple as a hacksaw, when you clipping in your gardens to clip the limbs because whole trees are down, whole houses have slid down mountainsides, whole houses have washed out into the sea. One woman said a 20-foot wave came in, took her house. She was and sheltered up outside of the danger zone, and watched the sea take her entire house, right? Concrete, y'all. I'm not talking about plyboards and plywood and all of that other stuff. Her concrete house, and just took it right out into the sea. When we tell you 185-mile-per-hour sustained winds, I don't know of a hurricane that has ever hit that island in 200 years at 185-mile-per-hour winds with two gusts of 220 miles. I mean, decimated. And so I'm asking you to please not get on my page, or please don't call me and say, can I still do my vacation in Jamaica? We're talking about life now. Right? We're talking about search and rescue. People are still missing. People have lost their entire livelihoods, their homes, their farms, their crops. Everything is gone. And so, while I understand that you want to come and enjoy, there's nothing to enjoy right now. We have to focus on the people that live and breathe on that island to make sure they have what they need. So, please. I'm begging you. And somebody said to me, what can we do? And I kept saying, if you can donate batteries, for those of you who know me and know where I am, and you can bring batteries, great. We need as many batteries as we can get. C's, D's, flashlights, those kinds of things, gauze, tape for people's, blood pressure cuffs, things that we can buy for $5 and $10, 15, maybe 20. If you can donate all of that, I am willing to take it all to the church and drop it off there. When you see me, please, if you give me a pack of C batteries, it'll feel like you gave me $100, because I know those batteries are going to go to help a lot of people. This is not the time to, turn up our nostrils and go blah, 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 blah. And in the middle of dealing with everything that's going on in Jamaica, there is so much craziness happening here. So much. And I see the distress on people's faces. I'm going to put up a video. Denise and I went into a store, and the cashiers just started talking to us, and that people just randomly sharing the despair that they feel, what's getting ready to happen, right? And so now is not the time for us to fight with each other and point fingers and have judgments and all the other things. Leave that ish at the door. Right? We have been conditioned to be zone deaf and zone blind, because we've been conditioned to watch Housewives of this and Housewives of that to get our minds away from what is actually happening. But I'm gonna need us to zone in and figure out how to help. You can't help everybody out there, but you can certainly help the people within your community, the people within your sphere of influence, the people that that you talk to every day, that you consider friends or acquaintances or whatever else. You work for an organization, ask them how they can support. Lorraine Ballard Morrow reached out to me. Thank you, Laura. Lorraine Ballard Morrow reached out to me, and she says, Andrea, and I said, I can't even. She said, send me the list. Tell me the organizations that you trust. I sent it to her. She talked to DC, and next thing I know, Power 99 and everybody else was sending that very list out to people. That's what I'm looking for, right? And are opting to donate and do what needs to be done. I'm asking people not to send me any money. That there's a PayPal link to the churches here, the two churches that we trust that have done work with Jamaica all the time for decades. And so, through Team Jamaica, Bickle, and other nonprofits, we trust those two churches. We know where the money is going. They send us a report. They let us know exactly how much money came in, how much money, because we don't play like that. We do not. And not everybody that says. So when people ask me, those two churches is where I'm sending people to make sure that folks get what needs to happen. But I'm telling you, gauze, tape, blood pressure cuffs, if you have a hacksaw, if you have clippers, if you all of it may just feel like one thing to you, but that one thing can help a dozen people in Jamaica right now. So we need lots and lots and lots of batteries and flashlights, and because it's dark. The country is dark. My sister happens to have generators, and so she's in the electricity. So she's taking and she has service, right? So she's taking what she has to help as many people as she can on the island right now, along with her husband. Nobody's sitting around going, well, I'm so and so, and so I'm not doing any of that stuff. Doctors, lawyers, Indian chiefs, government officials, everybody is stepping in to do what needs to be done. And it's a prime example of how we can, when we work together and put our egos to the side. Put our egos to the side. My niece and nephew are doctors in Jamaica. They had to be down in Kingston doing the work. So they didn't face some of the devastation, but Black River Hospital in St. Elizabeth, decimated. Landmarks that you have all come and visited, gone. Absolutely gone. So look, Laverne, the church is on Old York Road, 6201 Old York Road. They're two Jamaican churches, actually. So just go look on my page, because I have it pinned at the very top of my page, where you can donate and send things. And for those of you who see me and want to donate, and you can't get to the church, I will come pick up the stuff. I will. I absolutely will come pick up the stuff. As we get closer to Thanksgiving, I'm asking you to figure out how you can not just help yourself and your families, but invite one or two people to your Thanksgiving dinner that may not have a Thanksgiving meal. Buy groceries for somebody who may need groceries. It may, you may feel like I can't, if you have an extra $200 or $100 or even $50, and you come together with 4 other people to make sure that you can buy groceries for somebody, give them a gift card so they can have have groceries. Just anything other than sitting within ourselves, looking and pointing fingers and judging others. Stop it, y'all. Stop it. The time is here where it's not just some people being impacted, all of us are being impacted. Choose gratitude, right? Love you all dearly. I'm out of here because, I'll see some of you this weekend. Love still. Whew. This episode of Mornings with Marvel is officially over. I am Andrea Lawful Sanders. I'll see you when I see you. Thanks for staying with me for the after party.